You want enough activity, enough social commentary that obviously is interesting because people are liking and commenting, and you'll quite often suddenly see a post from a friend on Facebook that has got lots of likes and comments already. And the reason that's showing up is because it's had lots of interaction.
Yeah.
The contentious issue, and what Facebook has done, is said, well, okay, if you're a business and you want to reach this audience, you're going to pay for it. So if you're going to interrupt people's news feeds, if you want to have sort of greater impact, greater reach to a particular audience, then we're going to charge you to do that.
Yeah.
So when you have your page and you've got, let's say you've got 5,000 fans,
Yeah.
we've just hit 500,000 fans for one of our clients, which is a big yeehaw, brilliant, fantastic. The problem is that the percentage of, or the amount of the 5 million fans that will actually see any post we tend to share, that's going down and down and down and down. So every time they post, yes, it is that 500,000 people are eligible to see that post, but in truth, it's probably about between 4 and 8% of them will actually see it, until it starts getting more likes and commentary, and then that percentage goes up and up and up. If we want to reach all of them, we have to pay for that.
Yeah.
And that's the argument at the moment in the online community. It's a very big conversation, and lots of people are going, it's going to be the end of Facebook, and I don't know that it will be. I am concerned about it because I think it's getting too expensive for many businesses to make it practical, unless you're doing very specifically targeted conversations. But yeah, it is a challenge. The thing to say about Facebook ads, in a similar way to LinkedIn, is the targeting opportunities on there are unique. You can't target people in the same way anywhere else. So you can target by gender, you can target by age, you can target by geographic location. Did I mention that on LinkedIn? Geographic
Yes,
as well,
yeah.
Marital status, so in a relationship, married, those sorts of things. Facebook also has a way of just judging the types of things people post. It will, with an algorithm, decide they've got kids or not. It may not be on their profile. They may be a university graduate. That would be something else that you can target. But the most important thing is, what do they like?
Yeah.
So, if you said, we've run campaigns for personal injury lawyers, for example, of people who like horse riding. Have you fallen off your horse? You might be entitled to some compensation. Okay. I mean, it's a bit scattergun, but kind of targeted scattergun. Okay. So it's scattergun, but we got everybody in a room.
Yeah.
Okay, so slightly more successful than the usual.
Have you fallen off your horse recently? Sue yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the horse.
But equally, if you had a nightclub or something, or you were running golf days, target people who like golf in a particular proximity. The way that you then improve that is chopping that audience into smaller sections. So you'll say, okay, I want to target men and women. You'd have maybe, we've got a female golf day or a men's golf day, so you'd advertise the two to different audiences. But you could also then say, well, I'm going to have an audience to start with of, let's say you're doing men 25 to 50. So these are the people with a bit more disposable income, so you should get a better response. You would then say, okay, well, 25 to 30, 31 to 35, 36, and you break them into smaller chunks. The cost per click and the response that you'll get will be different for each of those groups, and you also rotate a number of different ads to see which one they respond to the most. And you will get some very surprising results, ones that you can't even predict. But it's all about testing that and measuring and saying, well, actually, 25 to 30-year-old guys, we're not really, the cost per inquiry is too high. Actually, let's get rid of the money we're spending there and spend that on the 35 to 40, because that's where we're getting our sweet spot. So actually mixing that targeting around and testing different things is where you will actually make a lot more profit in the long run. So that's Facebook. Very much B2C. It's very much targeting consumers. I've spent personally about 1,500 quid to £2,000 on Facebook ads to test it for business. We increased the page likes on our page to about 1,000. I can't attribute a single inquiry to it, although I'm sure there is a lot of brand benefit that we got from it. So we canned that budget and spent it elsewhere. More on that in a minute. So that's Facebook. Again, remember that it fits in this brand stuff at the top. The only exception to that is there's a friend of mine who I know through social media, and they do the corporate chocolates. Now at this time of year, you've got Valentine's Day, a £9, small box of personalised chocolates. You could sell that on Facebook with an interruption sale, okay? But it's primarily about engaging the audience, getting them as a fan, having that frequent communication, and nurturing the relationship. And you will then ultimately get sales directly from the Facebook page. But it's not there's a new brand, I've heard of them, I'll buy something. It's, that looks interesting, I'll follow for a while, now I trust them, now I want to buy whatever it is, then I'll go to the website and look for it.
My 16-year-old daughter has built for the last 3 years a business since she was 13.
Jolly good.
Pure on Facebook.
Okay.
I mean, she's at the point now where, she has to pay a taxi.
Right.
And that's, and she started when she was 13, it's purely on Facebook. And the like she's got and the
Excellent.
business, it's unbelievable. She gets shops coming to her.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's...
What's she doing?
She sews cushions and bunting
superb.
and it's it's all shabby chic. It's just gone absolutely through the roof.
Those businesses, I think, they've just grown immensely because of social media.
We've actually had to stop her now because she's doing exams.
Yeah.
Because she's just obsessed with the business.
Yes.
And it's just taken over her life, and it's just unbelievable. I've learned so much from her.
Yeah. No, it's been almost a revolution, I think. Certainly an evolution, but those types of businesses and people, that have got children, they're staying at home looking after children, they're running a business alongside of it. They're not the sorts of businesses that we would tend to deal with, because we're looking for people who want to do that, whereas those people are kind of, I've got a lifestyle business, and that's great. It's very hard for us to work with somebody when we can do this and it'd be great and you'll be a millionaire by Christmas, and that's what we want to achieve. And they go, well, I just want it to try and tick along. We're not the right company to work for that. That's harder to do than actually spend lots of money and grow a business. Actually keeping it at the same level, it's very difficult. Okay, any questions on Facebook?
Because that's just one question, and there's
Yep.
much time. One thing I haven't got quite clear in my own mind, and we deal a lot with social media ourselves,
Yep.
but is where the divide comes between putting your own content on, i.e. getting the client to blog or comment, because it might be not exactly written correctly or what have you, their own photographs on an iPhone,
Yeah.
and actually somebody doing it for them, because in a sense, by doing it, and we get requests a lot, can we do the Facebook for you, or LinkedIn, or whatever it might be.
Sure.
And it's quite a sort of dichotomy there, because actually it doesn't feel real if you're doing it on behalf of somebody, unless you really understand the business.
Yes.
Yeah,
the challenge is, I suppose the kind of line in the sand is, if it is a brand, and you know the tone of voice for the brand, and you've got some brand guidelines, then you can ask somebody else, as a business, not me as an agency, but if it was your business or your business, you could have someone running that for you, with some strict guidelines on brand, and what happens if somebody says, I need to return something, well, there's a standard response. So someone can run that for you, but on a personal level, it's very difficult to represent being somebody else. My Twitter account is me. You'll get abuse from me. That's what I do on Twitter. So, it's mostly a bit of fun mixed with a bit of business, and that's how I behave. Nobody could really, I don't think anybody would want to, but I don't think anybody could pretend to be me. And in my personal opinion, nor should they. If you're big enough to have a brand, then have a brand account. We have a Team Tillison account on Twitter, and that is much more very specifically about business. But my own one is me, so you'll get me moaning about stuff quite a lot. You'll get me, I was having an argument with Barry Hearn over the weekend about the appalling state that he's booking World Snooker tickets. And he said, well, we've had 40,000 tickets sold and only one complaint, yours. And I said, well, it's okay to treat customers really badly as long as no one complains then, is it? But that, I would do that on Twitter, and I called him out for it. It's terrible. It's a premier sporting event. £1,650 for a pair of tickets for all sessions of the World Final VIP. And do you know how they want you to buy it? From a PDF. I mean, seriously, So I tend to do that stuff on Twitter. And, with the greatest respect, nobody could do that on my behalf. That's kind of one of my passions. So, I hope that answers your
thanks.
question. Twitter, who tweets?
We have got a Twitter account,
Twitter account?
but it's new and I don't know. My friend is in, so I'm waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else got a Twitter account? Do you have?
Well, sort of.
You've got one. You've got one.
Not only because it's very interesting, Mark, to listen to you. I mean, I'm totally a dinosaur. I mean, yes, my wife sort of said the other night, having had a scotch, why don't we get onto Facebook and Twitter and everything? So yes,
Yeah.
she got over my iPhone, opened all these things up, sort of thing. And I'm sitting there this morning or whatever it was, thinking, what the bloody I don't know
What do we do next?
What do we do next? Yes, I mean literally, because I'm trying to do something in golf business, something, and I need all this to get the product out. And of course we said the other night, let's buy the bullet, go and do it. So I'm sitting there with a second scotch saying, yeah, go and do it, dear.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting now thinking, what the bloody hell have we done?
Yeah.
So I've got to obviously carry it on, because I'm not going to just dabble.
You've got to
social
be
media has got to
proactive
be
with
done.
it. It's very much similar to LinkedIn. You know, having there's my profile, well, great. Unless somebody is physically searching for you, they're not going to find anything. So, Twitter, in terms of where it fits, is either B2B or B2C. So you can do both with that. You can also use each of these media, by the way, you can use for obviously responding to customer service and things like that. Depending, some of the bigger brands would handle customer issues and requests and things through that as a medium, or complaints, of course. But Twitter, again, you would look for people to follow that are relevant. You might be interested in what you're doing. You would look for relevant publications or golf courses in your case, but things that are laterally relevant, so you can get involved in the conversations that they are having with other people. So you will find that people who are